All right, I want to call this special called meeting of the Simpson County Fiscal Court to order. I would ask you to join me in a word of prayer today, that you would just be with that family, that you would bless them and comfort them in a way that only you can. And Father, we just pray that everything that's said and done in this place today would be according to your will, and we just give you all the praise, honor, and glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we will begin with the public hearing session, the proposed use of the county road aid and the local government economic assistance. And I've just got some things here to read. Pursuant to KRS 42.455 and KRS 174.100, I officially open the public hearing as advertised for the county road aid and local government economic assistance for public comment regarding use of these restricted funds. The projection of county road aid funds from the motor fuels taxes for the fiscal year 2021 is $723,574, and then $185,400 from the local government economic assistance funds from taxes levied on minerals mined in our county, mostly crushed stone. Obviously, typically we're at a time for public hearing, public comment. Well, under these circumstances, we advertised public comment to be sent in to the courthouse. We received no comments. We received no questions, no comments. So basically, the local government economic assistance, Simpson County collects mineral sevens on a quarterly basis. We utilize these funds for public transportation and asphalt on county roads. The county road aid funds are to be used for construction, reconstruction, and maintenance of county roads. And 60% of those funds are available in August. 30 to 35% of those funds are available in January or February, and the remaining balance is paid at the end of the fiscal year. And 3% of the funds is placed in an emergency fund for participants to apply in the case of emergency projects. Since there were no questions or comments submitted by the public, we'll close the public hearing portion of the meeting and move into regular business. Gentlemen, you had on your portal and then a hard copy in front of you, excuse me, a planning and zoning resolution number 2020-05-22 concerning a situation with planning and zoning that needed to be authorized. I need a motion and a second to authorize planning and zoning resolution number 2020-05-22 and authorize Judge Executive to sign that. Got a motion by Myron and a second by Marty. All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Then, gentlemen, next, you on the portal, as we discussed in our meeting Tuesday, you had a copy of the budget in this format. I don't know if y'all still have that copy, but you had a copy in this format. So
It's a lot easier to read in this format.
yes, it's much easier to read in that format. But obviously it has to be in budget format to submit to DLG, which is formatted a little differently. And so per the discussions, the budget is in ordinance format, and just as it was discussed and left in our meeting Tuesday, as Marty said, it's a little easier to read in the format that we usually discuss. But if you have questions, I'm 100% confident that Nicole has put it in the legal format in the same manner that it's in our format here.
Oh, the numbers are exactly the same. If you look at the numbers, it's just harder to tell where some of the transfer in and stuff are going.
Point being to all of that, nothing has changed other than it's just formatted differently. And so we would have to have a motion and a second and a roll call vote on the budget ordinance, which is ordinance number 220.114.
Just for my information only, the inmate count at the jail is obviously considerably lower than what we are budgeted. So just for my information, these things will be monitored, and then if it requires a budget amendment somewhere down the road.
Oh, absolutely. If there has to be a change or an amendment made, I mean, we'll have no choice but to make that. I do think, and I see him sitting out in the hallway, I do think the jailer was getting some information this past week that led him to believe that those numbers maybe will not be as bad as he first thought.
Sure.
Now, you're free to speak on that if you'd like to, jailer.
I wasn't prepared to speak today, but I'll tell you what happened this week. Tuesday, when you were having y'all's meeting, I had my chief over here because I had to be in Kentucky Jailers meeting. Everybody seems to feel like the pool from the state inmates right now are going to be probably where we're at. Now, granted, we hold more state than county. Y'all know that. I do feel like they're going to pull more from us regardless than other jails. But as far as the big hit, I know Myron and I talked, Mason and I talked. I felt like they were going to hit us probably in the 40 to 60 range as far as state goes. I'm not feeling that way now. I'm thinking it's probably going to be more like 20, maybe 30 at the most. That's my gut feeling, just from our conversations. We did look, my chief pulled up all the jails across the state. We're probably that hot target. I mean, it just is what it is. Of course, we've been reaping the benefits for 10 years of having so many state inmates. Well, guess what? It's time to pay the piper. So there was about probably 15 jails that really stood out. We stood out probably more than anybody. So I feel like they're going to grab more from us, but there's enough off of that list as far as state inmates to give up and keep everybody pretty close to the same ratio to fill those jails or those beds at prisons. And so I don't think we're going to get hit as hard as what I originally thought. So that's positive. I could be wrong. Guys, I could be wrong. I'm just saying my gut feeling, knowing how things go, I feel like we're going to be in that probably the 20 to 30 range. Now, I will tell you this, there's a lot of factors to everything that's going on. With KSR being in shambles as far as the fiscal plant goes, they may not reopen it. If they don't do that, we're going to be even in better shape. So there's a lot of factors out there on the table right now. I can't control. I can't give you a definite. I'm telling you what my gut's telling me. And of course, it's rolling the dice. So that's where we are. That's what I've got. That's what I got Tuesday. So.
Yeah, I had talked with the jailer yesterday, and he had shared some of that with me, so I thought it might be good to share that. But to your point, Myron, obviously, county treasurer, the county finance officer, county treasurer monitors every county department fund daily. The finance officer will absolutely keep a check on what can and cannot be issued in the way of purchase orders. So all of that will be monitored. I do think it's worth pointing out, as we talk about the jail budget, that if you just look at the total revenues on the jail, and you go back to the last completed fiscal year, which is 18-19, the total revenue needed to operate the jail is only $146,000 difference than that fiscal year. And the biggest part of that is the retirement change from fiscal year 18-19 to 19-20. Now, obviously, we did not see that increase that we were expecting for 2021, but it was held at the same level as 19-20. And at 3/4 of the budget calculated in that 19-20 line, if you added another quarter to it, it looks like 19-20 will end up about like what we're projecting for 2021, which that difference there again, primarily retirement costs and things that were increased one fiscal year to the other. So, but the answer to your question is yes. That's a long way to answer. Yes, it will all be on.
That's fine. I mean, I don't do it on a daily basis. I try maybe at least once a week I'll call it. And, obviously we got 260 budgeted and that's the last 5-6 weeks we've been kind of averaging somewhere around 200. So, I mean, I just, that's the reason.
I think we're at around 221 today. I haven't been in to check this morning. I know yesterday that's where we were. I think 194 is the state count. Of course, county's starting to pick up. You get no choice on that. Doing what the man right here is doing, all he can do to help me out. Chief's doing all he can do to help me out.
Well, I can tell you.
He's doing all he can do to help me out.
We had inmate arraignments yesterday via Zoom, and there's a couple of three pretty good sized drug arrests happened in the last week or so, and it's a kind of one or two of those may go federal eventually.
One of those called yesterday and said it was for personal use only.
It was what?
For personal use only. The 15 grams.
I'm gonna say, yeah,
that's what I deal with.
But maybe in a lifetime, and he but that, you know, I guess that's his story, he's sticking to it. But we've had some pretty big last week. It's kind of, you know, like a roller coaster. Sometimes you go a while, don't have much in it, you have 2 or 3 pretty good sized drug arrests. So, you know, it's one of those things that's cyclical.
And just to verify for the court, you were talking about staying up on the numbers. I know you call me every week. This little lady right here, she knows the numbers every day. So we're in contact.
Good.
So,
Thank you.
y'all good?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Jalen. So where we're at is we either need a motion and a second and a vote on budget ordinance number 220.114. .214. It says .114 on my sheet.
My portal says .214. If you go on the agenda on the portal, it says .214.
I understand, but the hard copy says 114, so it's probably
It's one of them.
one of the others.
Nicole, are you looking back to see?
Mine says 114.
This is 114.
This one says 114.
Yeah. On the poll, it says 114.
For those of you
On my
watching
board,
us
it's
live
214.
via Facebook, we're having a small technical difficulty. We'll get the budget ordinance number figured out and proceed on.
This is the worst difficulty we've had, we'll be very fortunate.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be one of the four, the previous, the last budget amendment we had,
Okay.
it's the last one back on the website.
She's just getting through yesterday's evening.
Yeah, the last budget amendment was 220.2, it was 220.213.
Okay.
It's got ordinance number 220.213. It's what the ordinance number says on this budget amendment. Yeah, and number 4 was, 220.211. And then budget amendment 5 was 220.212, and budget amendment 6 was 220. It should be budget ordinance number 220.214. Like Sam said, if that is the worst thing we have to deal with today, we'll have a doggone good day.
Yeah.
So anyway, as I was saying, we're at a place we either have to have a motion and a second and a vote, or we'll adjourn and have to reschedule another budget planning session. Because obviously we can't discuss budget planning today because it's not on the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
So I have a motion by Myron to approve budget number 220.214.
Second.
Second by Nate. Yes, we'll do a roll call vote on ordinances. If y'all are good, we'll keep doing yay and nay on regular votes, but on ordinances, we do need to do roll call.
Yes.
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 No.
Marty, do you want to say anything?
The reason I voted, I just feel like the jail transfer number in is too high. It's not, I've been blasted on social media, and got back to me that the jail employees think I have something personal against them, and I really don't. I'm just looking at tax dollars. I think they do a fine job down there, and I commend them for the job they do, and it's a hard job. And, I agree they may be underpaid, but if you ask any employee in any department in this county, or any job really, I'm sure they would think the same, that they're underpaid. But just from the tax point of it, and all, I feel like that jail transfer number in is too high, and I would like to see Nick cut down, and that's the reason I voted no.
Okay, fair enough. Pam, did you call on me? Okay, I've got something I want to share here, and I want everyone to understand that this is just my personal feelings, but I want to say first off that I respect everyone on this court, and I understand that you all have to make the decisions you feel are best, and I cannot vote in favor of this budget. I was elected by people of Simpson County to lead this county and to head up and lead this fiscal court, and I will do so to the very best of my ability. One of the responsibilities that I have is presenting a budget to the fiscal court for approval. The way I go about preparing the budget is by first having a meeting with all the department heads where we discuss their needs and expected capital expenditures. I then sit down and go over all of that with the county treasurer. The treasurer constantly tracks the financial condition of all county departments. I absolutely trust her judgment and knowledge of the entire county budget. Once that budget is presented, all of you on this court are involved in the budget discussions as we go through the budget line by line during our planning sessions. In this budget, we cut out every request by department heads except for the 2 sheriff vehicles. There is no doubt that fiscal year 2021 will be a lean year, but we'll be down in revenue, but we are still going to be okay. Knowing that there is no unnecessary spending in this budget and knowing that our employees are our greatest asset in accomplishing the business of the people, I cannot in good conscience vote to approve the budget that has been required by this fiscal court. We have 2 employees at this very court in October of 2019 unanimously voted to hire one and reclassify the other by employee resolution stating we would review their performance to determine a merit pay increase going into this next fiscal year. These 2 employees have performed above and beyond in their new roles and justifiably deserve the raises. It would be an entirely different story had they underperformed or had we absolutely not had the revenue to fulfill our commitment, but that's simply not the case. We had one other employee approach the court with a request to be moved to a salary from hourly with an ultimate salary target in mind. That would be met, that target would be met in the coming fiscal years. This request was very reasonable and noble in that, in his position, he could ultimately accumulate copious amounts of overtime for an emergency such as the COVID-19 pandemic has been. In fact, his being on salary has recently saved the county thousands of dollars, far more than his salary increase would be. It is my opinion that our approval of his initial salary increase last year was an act of good faith that we agreed with the request. Honestly, in my estimation, we gave him our word, and it now appears that word means nothing. But I can tell you that I value being a man of my word, and it does mean something to me. I absolutely get that every penny we expend is taxpayer money, but the taxpayer expects a return on that money in the way of services rendered. And that is the business of county government, to provide those services to our people in the best, most efficient, and professional manner possible. County employees are our greatest asset in delivering those services to our residents. We have sheriff's deputies, jail deputies, road department personnel, and other employees that do good to make a living wage. Some of the pay rates are actually embarrassing to me. A tiered 2% cost of living adjustment was certainly very doable in this budget, and honestly much deserved by the employees. I do understand that some employees are paid more than others, but all jobs and job duties are not equal. We should be working toward a goal of getting all job titles at a reasonable wage. In our last budget planning session, much was made about the magistrates earning every penny they get paid and over losing $100 per month in their travel expense. I sat in a very similar seat for nearly 8 years at a salary of $12,000 per year. I never felt that I was underpaid for being a city commissioner. And honestly, we have magistrate salary for a 4-year magistrate with the training fringe and travel expense of almost $24,000. We actually have some full-time employees that don't make any more money than that, and some that make very little more than that. My salary was called into question as being the biggest raise in the county, but I want everyone to understand that I have absolutely no say in what my salary is. It's set by the state, and all of the constitutional officers, which is the judge executive, the sheriff, the jailer, and the county clerk, are all tiered employees, meaning that on their first year of service, their salary is one step. In the second year, it steps again. In the third year, it steps again. And in the fourth year, it steps again. So the reason that my salary increase is larger is because I would be taking a step in pay rather than just the consumer price index that the other constitutional officers get paid. Having said all that, I even forego the fringe training money, which would have been a bit over $1,000 last year and a bit over $2,000 this year. And I know there's people that would ask me, why would he forego money that he's entitled to? And I can tell you, because the taxpayers pay my travel expense to and from those conventions, those trainings. The taxpayer pays for all of my registration fees. The taxpayer pays for my hotel stay, and they also pay for any meal that's not part of that training. Honestly, the training fringe money could put $11,000 back into this budget, and in just 2 short years, it'll be over $17,000. The bottom line to me is this: I believe it's imperative that we take care of our employees and ensure that they are in a position to provide the services our residents expect in a timely and professional manner. That is why I cannot, in good conscience, vote in favor of this budget. And I hope that we reconsider all this sometime soon.
Ordinance passes 3-2.
Yeah. All we need now is a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Nate.
Second.
Second by Myron. All in favor, aye. Aye.